David Klein Lovett, delivery. We talked about sameness, timing, the pause, milking the laughter, the take. Now we're talking about act out when you're delivering. Acting out means acting out the actual scene of what you're talking about. Everybody loves a story, so a story has a scene. So if you're talking about when you were a box boy or a checker at the market, actually be doing those chores. Be taking some grocery items and putting them in a bag. Work that cashier. Argue, get mad. You actually act out the scene. Another way when you have different characters, you don't have to go real crazy to shift from one character to another, but just actually think about the character. So if I'm Richard Nixon, I make my cheeks really big and kind of act real serious and change my voice like this just a little bit. You don't go crazy, just a little bit. And then if I'm another character, if I'm going to be Barack Obama, I'm going to be a little bit more serious and I'm going to talk a little bit more in stiletto. And so you actually change. So Barack, you're standing a little more upright. Richard, you're a little bit more hunched. Barack, your voice is a little bit more stiletto. Well, this is how I'd like to do things, and this is how things happen. And then with Nixon, you're a little bit more rough, a little more broad in the way your voice goes. Just change it a little bit. And you actually imagine that person when you act out. Never point at your audience, but you can gesture with one hand above their heads, like that, rather than like that. My mother always taught me, do never point. Movement. Movement is so confusing for most speakers. They think you just want to own the stage, meaning you move back and forth. That isn't it at all. And if you look at most comedians, they don't move a bit. But if you are to move, especially if you're a speaker, there's three main reasons you would move. One, it's how the story goes. If you're in line at a checkout, you would be slightly moving each time as the line moves. If it's the DMV, it would be really slow. So as the scene dictates, you move. Another reason you would move would be a timeline. So I'd be like an aerobics or yoga teacher. My right to left is the opposite of yours, and you read from left to right. So that means I would start out maybe when I'm younger here, and then maybe now, and then here would be my future, just like you reading a book. So that's the second way. The second reason you would move in when you're doing stand-up or when you're giving a speech. The third is a transition from point A, B, C. And that's really good so then you can reference back to those points. Same thing you can do in your story. Similar with a timeline, with a timeline. So then people can really see your transitions. We talked about vocal variety when we talked about sameness. Change things up. High, low. Character voices. Small little changes. Don't go crazy. If you're a woman, you could just raise your voice just a little bit. If you want to talk about a man, you just lower it a little bit. Same with a little kid. I think you get the gist. So that the audience just mainly wants to know who's speaking. This is great. Make your audience part of your act. I loved it when in the movie Ferris Bueller's Day Off, Matthew Broderick, who played Ferris, how he would talk directly to the camera or the audience or to me about his plans on how to take the day off. So when you're telling a joke, make the audience. So what you would do is just look one member of the audience in the eyes. And when you do that, you're really doing it for everyone. And when you're talking to that person, like Ferris would, okay, well, I'm going to write a note here and they're going to believe this note and I'm going to get the day off. I'm sure that I can do it. It's happened to me before. I'm smarter than everybody else. It was wonderful. So make the audience one of the characters in your play, in your story, in your joke. Take my wife, please. It's really not that difficult. So delivery. We talked about sameness, timing, the pause, milking the laughter, the take, a small movement that says, go ahead and laugh. Act out your scene, act out your joke. Use voice and posture, point with an open hand, how and when to move, the three basic ways you do that. Changing your voices with characters, and make the audience one character, just like Ferris Bueller did in Ferris Bueller's Day Off. So remember, comedy really can be easy. Because, you just have to know and realize you can do it. And gives you some techniques on how to do it. And when you have a template, the jokes literally write themselves. Comedy Made Easy, davidklein.com. Excuse me, that's davidkleinloveit.com. Have a blessed day. Keep smiling. Make them laugh.